Have you ever pondered the profound power of silence? In this cacophonous world where the relentless hum of life's hustle and bustle never seems to cease, silence often slips through the cracks, unnoticed and unappreciated. Yet within this elusive quietude lies an enigmatic force, a potent tool waiting to be harnessed. Silence, my friends, is not merely the absence of noise, it's a space, a pause, a breath amidst the clamor of existence. It's a blank canvas offering an infinite realm of possibilities, a universe uncharted and untamed. In our incessant quest for meaning, we often overlook the profound eloquence of silence. It can be a soothing balm, a fierce weapon, a bridge to understanding, or a path to introspection. It can amplify truth, mute falsehoods, and transcend the boundaries of spoken language. Silence, though often forgotten, holds immense power that can change the course of our lives. So, let's delve into the enigma of silence and unlock its hidden potentials. Scene script. Imagine walking into a negotiation and instead of filling the room with persuasive words, you choose to remain silent. Let me take you on a journey of a man. Let's call him John. John was an ordinary guy, not the charismatic, smooth-talking type you'd expect at the negotiating table. But John had a secret weapon, something so subtle yet so powerful. He understood the power of silence. One day, John found himself in a high-stakes negotiation. He was up against a notoriously tough negotiator, known for his persuasive rhetoric and razor-sharp wit. But instead of launching into a verbal duel, John did something unusual. He chose to remain silent. Now picture this. John sitting there, calmly, not uttering a single word. His opponent, on the other hand, was gushing like a broken fire hydrant, spewing out arguments, counter-arguments, and proposals. He was expecting a heated debate, a contest of words. Instead, he was met with silence. John's silence was unnerving. It was like a mirror reflecting back all the noise, all the words. It was a void that sucked in the verbal onslaught and returned nothing. The more his opponent talked, the more he exposed his hand, the more he revealed his weaknesses. And the more John learned. But here's the funny part. The more John remained silent, the more powerful he became. His silence was not passive. It was active, strategic, a well-crafted tool of negotiation. It was like he had an invisible shield that deflected all attacks, leaving his opponent disoriented and exhausted. As the discussion progressed, or rather, as the monologue dragged on, something shifted. The power dynamics in the room changed. The man who was doing all the talking was no longer in control. John, the silent observer, had taken the reins. And guess what? John walked away from that meeting with a deal that was beyond his wildest expectations, all because he chose to remain silent, to listen, to let the power of silence do the talking. And that, my friends, is how our silent hero won the day, not with words, but with silence. Did you know that silence can be your greatest ally in personal growth? Sounds a bit out there, right? But stick with me. Silence is like a mirror. It reflects who we are, what we think, and what we feel. It's in those quiet moments, when the world's chatter fades away, that we get to know ourselves on a deeper level. Imagine you're on an endless road trip with yourself. No radio, no roadside attractions, just you and your thoughts. Scary? Maybe. Enlightening? Absolutely. Now let's talk about decision-making. You're at a crossroads, and you need to choose a path. Do you listen to the cacophony of voices telling you what to do, or do you seek the counsel of silence? Picture this. You're at a buffet, and everyone's yelling, "Try the chicken, no, the beef, wait, the fish is amazing." But amidst the noise, you take a moment of silence and realize you're actually craving a salad. A simple, quiet moment can help you tune into your own desires and make choices that align with your true self. And what about stress relief? We're living in a world that's constantly buzzing, beeping, and blaring. It's like being in a room with 100 alarm clocks all going off at once. But what if you could turn off those alarms, even for a little while? That's what silence does. It's like a big, shiny, red off button for your brain. Now here's a funny story. Once upon a time, a man found himself in a tricky situation. His wife asked him, "Does this dress make me look fat?" He took a deep breath and instead of responding, he just smiled and stayed silent. His wife, expecting an answer, looked at him curiously. He just shrugged and said, "I'm practicing my silence." And just like that, he dodged a potential disaster. So, next time you find yourself in a pickle, remember that silence could be your secret weapon. Silence isn't just about you, it's also about how you connect with others. Now let's take a moment to delve into a little story. Picture this, a young man named Tim, who was known to have the gift of gab. Tim could talk the hind leg off a donkey, a real chatterbox. One day his friend Sarah came to him, upset about a problem at work. Tim, being Tim, immediately jumped in with advice, solutions, anecdotes, you name it. But Sarah didn't seem consoled. In fact, she seemed more upset. At this point, Tim was perplexed. He'd given his best advice, his most entertaining anecdotes, and yet, Sarah was still upset. Then, a light bulb moment. Tim realized that maybe, just maybe, Sarah didn't need his words. She needed his silence, his presence, his understanding. So, he tried a new approach. He simply sat with Sarah in silence, listening as she shared her feelings and frustrations. He didn't interrupt, didn't offer advice, didn't try to fix things. He simply was there, silent and empathetic. And guess what? It worked. Sarah felt heard, understood, and a little less alone in her troubles. This funny little story about Tim and Sarah illustrates a profound truth. Silence can be a powerful tool for empathy. It allows us to truly listen, to understand, and to connect on a deeper level with others. It shows that we respect their feelings and experiences, that we're there for them not just to talk, but to listen. Silence gives space for others to express themselves, to feel validated and understood. It's not about being passive or indifferent. On the contrary, it's an active form of empathy, a conscious choice to hold space for others, to let them know, I'm here, I'm listening, I understand. And so we see that silence isn't just golden, it's also empathetic. It's a bridge that connects us to others, allowing us to understand and be understood. It's a tool that, when used wisely, can deepen our relationships and our understanding of those around us. Sometimes the best response is no response at all. Silence can speak volumes. We've talked a lot about silence today, but what are the key takeaways? Let's dive in and wrap up our conversation on the power of silence. Firstly, we've learned that silence can be an instrumental tool in communication. It's not always about what you say, but often about what you don't say. Silence can help us listen more effectively, understand better, and respond more thoughtfully. It can create an environment where ideas can surface and perspectives can be shared. It's not an empty void, but a space brimming with potential. Secondly, we've explored how silence can be a catalyst for personal growth. In the quiet moments, we can hear our own thoughts more clearly, understand our emotions, and gain insights into our desires and dreams. It's a sanctuary where we can connect with our inner selves, away from the cacophony of the outside world. It's a space for introspection, for self-awareness, for growth. Thirdly, we've discovered how silence can foster empathy. When we quiet our own voices, we make room for others to speak. We open up to their experiences, their feelings, their stories. We learn to listen, not just to respond, but to understand. And in doing so, we cultivate empathy, we build stronger relationships, and we create a more compassionate world. So in sum, silence is not just the absence of sound. It's a powerful tool, a secret weapon if you will, that we can wield to enhance our communication, spur our personal growth, and foster empathy. It's an art, a skill, a practice that requires patience and mindfulness. But remember, like any tool, the power of silence lies in how we use it. It's not about never speaking, but about knowing when to speak and when to hold our peace. It's about striking a balance between expression and introspection, between dialogue and silence. So the next time you find yourself in a noisy world, remember the power of silence. It might just change your life.